we got the not too young to run bill passed without firing a bullet. We changed the electoral laws without firing a bullet. We're still going to do a lot of things in this country without firing a bullet.
Hello there, and welcome to Youthacy, brought to you by Ready to Talk TV and podcast. My name is Ifunanya Nduka, and I am your host. On this show, we empower young people to become effective community organizers, democratic mobilizers, and productive change agents. Today, we're going to be talking about youth policy advocacy, and I have a very special guest with me in the studio. I am sure that you all want to meet him because this person has been instrumental in driving bills and policies that affect young people in Nigeria. With me in the studio is no other person than Mr. Godbless Otubure. Hi, Godbless.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being here with us on Ready to Talk TV and podcast. Of course, I know you personally, but some of our viewers may not know you, and of course, they want to meet you. So tell us a little about yourself and the work you do, especially as it relates to democracy and governance.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Godbless, like you have said. I work at ReadyToLeadAfrica as the Global President, and currently I sit on the Global Advisory Board of the Presidential Precinct in the United States. I'm also a White House Summit to Democracy Youth Ambassador from the Youth Democracy Cohort. I'm also a Mandela Washington Fellow, which means that I do some work with the State Department as a partner, driving youth development projects, working on policy, and such work, and just working around governance projects and youth inclusion works across Nigeria and the African sub-region.
Oh, I thought you were going to talk about the Not Too Young to Run bill that you were very, instrumental in running and passing. So do you want to speak to that?
I was just introducing myself, and I didn't know that I was just going straight into talking about some of the things I've been involved in. Yes, I was a former Lagos State coordinator for the Not Too Young to Run movement, so yes.
Okay, thank you for sharing, God bless. So we'll just move right into the questions, right? What do you think are some challenges that young people are facing currently with regards to policy and governance? And I mean young people in Nigeria.
Some of the most important ones that we've seen in the last couple of years is police brutality and how young people felt like we needed a policy change in the way police related with young people and how the police was structured. And of course, again, you have the national youth policy, which young people feel is not inclusive enough and it's not addressing the real issues of employment, of access, and, access to resources. And again, one of the major ones that's affecting young people is the educational policy and access to education, quality education.
Right.
And you see what the current administration is doing with the education loan scheme, which is a clamor from young people across the country that maybe if you give us access and resources, we can then pay back like you have in the United States and other parts of the world. Also,
that's a step in the right direction, right?
Yes, absolutely. And then you have a policy around political participation. And of course, young people are clamoring for policy change when it comes to the cost of running for office, within political parties. Those are issues that young people are really concerned about. So a lot of these things are affecting young people in Nigeria at the moment, and we're currently and consistently making advocacies for such policies to be reviewed, reformed, and all of that. Yeah.
No, okay, great. So back to these challenges, right? How can youth policy advocacy mitigate these challenges and also amplify the voices of young people in Nigeria?
The question is spot on, because young people must realize that change does not happen just by being on X or Instagram or Twitter. That's not the only way change happens.
True.
Because we are in a society that is governed by laws and laws are products of policies, right? And how can young people, how does this really cause change? Young people must realize that they have to get involved.
They have to move away from being keypad warriors,
yes,
right?
To not just talking aimlessly, but speaking to policy issues.
I agree.
We don't like the fact that,
I agree.
case in point, why are you paying policemen $50,000 a month? That's a policy issue. Why is bail not free, even though it is stated that bail is free? Right? So you have a policy that's not been properly implemented, right?
Yes.
Why do we have? I'm trying to get something now. Why do we have mortgage policies that the average Nigerian cannot access? These are issues that young people must get involved in. So in terms of governance and all of that, you want to realize that in terms of electoral reforms, right? Why should political parties be allowed to sell governorship forms for 50 million or 20 million or 30 million? These are policy issues. Young people can organize their voices beyond just talking about it online and making a presentation in form of a document to the House of Reps, to INEC.
Okay.
That is what we did with the Youth March Forth for electoral reforms. We didn't just say, oh, we're marching forth, we're going to protest. No, we took our recommendations, wrote it down, typed it out on the computer, printed it as our demand, submitted it to constituency offices of House of Rep members, and we galvanized young people. So that is how young people can play, in policy conversations.
Great, incredible points you've raised there, God bless. I particularly think that being a keypad warrior in this age and climb, it's just a waste of time, right? Young people must leave their comfort zones and play where the playing field really is.
Correct.
We can't keep fighting on Twitter when things are happening at the legislative level.
Correct.
Right? And then that brings me to the next question. Can you highlight youth-led initiatives that have led to policy changes in Nigeria?
I mean, quite a lot of them. You have the most popular, of course, the No Too Young
like
to Run.
I said earlier.
I think you're laughing. One of the most popular is the No Too Young to Run campaign, of
Yes.
course. That was youth-led. We came together, organized. So, your show says you're empowering young people to become, effective community organizers,
Yes, democracy
mobilizers,
yes,
and then productive
change agents.
Change agents. It can never be too correct. You guys are absolutely spot on. So what we did was we organized our communities, and then we mobilized democratically, and then we became productive change agents. That's
wow!
Yeah, that's what we
You're
did.
not stealing from us. You're taking our points from us.
I said you guys stole from the Not Too Young to Run. I'm laughing because it's like you captured it spot on, because that was what we did from across the country. And Yaga Africa led that whole campaign and engaged a lot of other CSOs and young people that delivered that. So that was one policy conversations that we found that young people led and became success. Another one, again, is the Electoral Reforms Bill that replaced or repealed the Electoral Reforms Act 2010 and replaced it with the Electoral Reforms Act 2022. And that gave us the electronic transmission of results, which right now young people are saying, okay, it looks like, there were some loopholes. We've got to go back there and tighten it up and put it legal. So these are some of the examples.
Oh, okay, great. So I'm happy that you have been instrumental in some of these, policy reforms. So I'm going to ask you, what are some challenges that you have faced or other young people may face when it comes to conversations around policy advocacy in Nigeria? And how can these challenges be overcome, really? How can they be overcome?
I mean, some of the challenges that you face when you're advocating for a policy review or reform, which leads to maybe a law being changed or adjusted, is that a lot of Nigerians no longer trust
Right.
The
Right.
process.
Right.
And then you get a lot of pushback from sometimes your own friends and family and people who looked at us and told us, come on, man, you're wasting your time. Oh, you think these people will reduce the age to run for office? They will never do that. But we always said to them, there's always a crack in the wall. There's always a room for adjustment. There's always a room for getting better. So that's some of the challenges. Again, another challenge I'll say is lack of local funding for policy advocacy issues. And that is one of the things I've also said in one of my sessions, that local entrepreneurs need to start investing in democratic culture building.
I agree.
Right?
Yes.
So
yes.
if foreigners, by foreigners I mean European Union, USA, Canada, or foundations from America, if they don't fund CSOs in Nigeria, trust me, the CSO community will die. I tell you,
Right.
take it from me. But that is a shame on our part. So for me, one of the challenges we faced was Nigerians in Nigeria don't fund policy advocacy issues. And I'm calling on every Nigerian who's going to watch this. Fund democracy culture building initiatives, so that we can determine the future of our countries, so that tomorrow you will not say, oh, foreign interference or foreign, and all of that. So those are some of the challenges. Buying from people, funding, of course, the unwillingness of current lawmakers or policy leaders or policymakers to move in the direction of change, because change is not always easy for people. So there are many more, but I'll just stop with the
No,
three.
great. I'm happy that you took the conversation to civil society organizations, right, and youth organizations. So how can these organizations amplify the voices of young Nigerians who are looking to create change with regards to policy? Or does a young Nigeria belong or lead a CSO to be able to advocate for this policy change?
No, absolutely no. You don't have to lead a CSO to be able to advocate. I told some of my friends, which some of them are now joining us at our events that we have. And I said to them, look, you may be an entrepreneur doing amazingly well in your line of work, and you're doing a lot of stuff. You're a businessman, you're in the entertainment industry, but you've got to be part of what the CSOs are doing.
Yes.
Volunteer. How many of, because I meet them and I say, you come and volunteer for us, right? Same way we're able to talk to Dakore Buson, who is now on the board of Ready to Lead Africa. That way she's helping us to look at, okay, how do we tell our stories using film and all of that? We're looking at a lot of work that can be done.
Interesting.
I've spoken to Dan the Humorous, Nedu, Kenny Black, Koloman, Ali Baba.
Okay.
These are people who have supported what we do at Ready to Lead Africa and have contributed their time into shaping, especially electoral reforms, voter education, and all of that. So I'm saying it to young people, you don't have to lead a CSO to be a part of it. You may be a lawyer working at a company. You may be working with a tech firm. You may be working in the fashion business. You may be a singer. You may be a studio executive. Whatever you're doing, please identify a CSO that you are volunteering for. It may become just the singular reason why you are giving some support internationally. And people don't know, and I'll just say it. The more you volunteer for civil society organizations, especially those ones that are working on democracy, and all of this other stuff that has to do with nation building. The easier it is for you to get visas. People don't know.
Oh wow!
Oh yes, people don't know.
that is some very useful tip for a lot of our viewers.
I'm telling you.
Thank you, God bless.
Yeah, because it's like, what's the attachment to your country? It doesn't show that you are that you want to make this country better.
Right.
So if we give you a visa, you're just going to run away.
That is something to think about.
But I'm not saying volunteer so you can get visa and run. That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, even if you want to visit these countries, right? You don't have to run to want to explore.
Yeah, you're right.
So I absolutely agree with you.
Because for some of us, we're able to get visas to to countries that a lot of Nigerians are scared of to go, because they look at your profile. Oh, he's part of his country. He loves his country.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, great. So to close out, we started with, for the lack of a better word, right? Slandering keypad warriors.
Okay.
So I will ask you, God bless, how do you think that digital platforms and social media, platforms as well, can be used to mobilize and organize young people to be part of conversations around policy making?
I really believe that everybody plays a role in shaping conversations. I don't want to call anybody keypad warriors. If there's a word like that, they're very helpful. They can be very helpful because there are people who would take the document to the house. There are people that would have to talk about it online. What we're simply saying is, online is not enough, right? There has to be different categories. There has to be people that are online talking about these issues every day. There have to be people that are marching. Marching, we can have everybody marching, but not everybody can go into the House of Reps, right? Not everybody can go see a senator because, to be too crowded, right? So keypad warriors, continue to do your work, but when it's time to move beyond keypad warrioring, come to the street, not violently, because our generation, we don't believe in achieving anything through violence. We got the not too young to run bill passed without firing a bullet. We changed the electoral laws without firing a bullet. We're still going to do a lot of things in this country without firing a bullet. So keypad warriors, anybody who feels like they are very good at social media, continue to advocate. When you see, policy conversations from organizations like Ready to Lead Africa, IAGA Africa, Connected Development, EIE, Kimpact, name them, PLAC, NYFF, LEAP Africa. Your responsibility is to take it on. Don't say, oh, it doesn't concern me, this democracy thing, oh, this policy thing. No, it's your business. Case in point would be the social media regulation bill. Everybody jumped on it because it concerns everybody. Keypad warriors, So for me, I just believe that we can get off our solitary or hidden advocacy couch, and whilst we continue to do that, we must continue to also engage. Look at read policies, right? Read what it is about. Don't just read stuff. That's the generation that we're in. Read. I'm begging us to read. And that way we can get involved. We know what the policy is saying, what it's not saying. Then we can be ready to actually lead Africa, lead Nigeria, and be the best version of our generation.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you for having me.
It is always very refreshing to speak to you. I'm always going home with new insights, new nuggets. My people, you have heard from the Global President of Ready to Lead Africa, Godbless Otubure. Get involved. Get involved. Know what's going on in your society. Know what's going on in the country. Know what's going on in your LGA. And be able to change your life and the lives of people coming after you. Thank you very much for being here with us on Youthacy. My name remains Ifunanya Nduka. Bye for now.